Welcome back to uh Epic COD Zombies gamer who studies psychology talking about informational stuff over a video of Call of Duty gameplay that I myself recorded. This time I'm going to talk about the saying you are what you eat because I'm sure it's something that everyone has heard at least once in their life and we all know exactly what it means. It's a general saying that encourages us to eat healthy and lead healthy lives. Yet, I know there's people out there who seriously doubt this ideology or just don't follow it because they don't fully understand how it works. So, as a psych student, I'm no stranger to information regarding the importance of this quote. So, if you want to understand food a little better and how it relates to this saying, bear with me for a moment as I explain the journey food goes on through your body. And no, I'm not going to briefly say, you eat it, it goes through your digestive system, and you crap it out. Because like most people, I always wondered where everything that wasn't wasted had gone. For the sake of structure, I will describe the purpose of each of the main 5 food groups depicted in most charts, which is carbs, proteins, fruits, vegetables, and dairy. So starting off, carbs are the hardest part of everything to describe because most people view carbs as like the enemy of food and eating. And bodybuilders will say it's the bane of your body's existence. Your mom says it's just making you fat. And most outdated dietitians cut it out first when you strive for a slimmer body. So, what are carbs? Carbs is short for carbohydrates, basic molecules that make up most of organic matter. Saying this, it's probably really easy to tell why they're essential to our diets. Carbs are the materials we need to make up who we are. Though they do mostly make up the fat in our bodies, they do play essential roles in constructing most of the functional matter, making the structure for our bodies. But I'm a psychologist, not a dietitian, so I'll tell you what makes carbs really important. Whenever you eat food from this group, it gets broken down to its most basic form: sugar, glucose. The thing every 6th grade biologist is very familiar with. Now, glucose serves a huge purpose in our body, providing us energy. Without sugar as fuel, we essentially can't function as human beings. Glucose is broken down into our bloodstreams and brought to cells all over the body. The mitochondria then takes in the supply of glucose and, through a variety of processes and other materials like oxygen and other things you don't need to worry your head with, create adenosine triphosphate. This nucleotide is very unstable because the third phosphate has a weak bond connecting it to the rest of the molecule, and it creates a burst of heat once broken that can power our cells to work. Essentially speaking, no carbs means very little or no production of this ATP molecule, meaning no energy to function. You'll often feel tired or fatigued on a low-carb diet and will notice your body becomes frail and weak without consistent supply of this basic structure. A fun fact, a big reason why we yawn when we're tired is so our bodies can take in more oxygen to help fuel the production of ATP through cellular respiration. So no, it more means you're trying to stay awake rather than you being tired. Don't be afraid to yawn while working out, you sleepy little gym rat. Protein is something that I'm sure I'll hardly have to touch on because what fool doesn't know the main function of protein? Proteins are full of amino acids, which are the building blocks for all of our cells. Our DNA holds genetic information, RNA transcripts it to be read by the ribosomes in our cells, and each set of 3 letters in our DNA corresponds to a certain amino acid that will be used in producing biomatter. Protein is essentially the catalyst that promotes growth within our bodies, and while glucose is functional fuel, amino acids are constructive resources that help us grow and recover. Most of this growth will happen overnight while we sleep, but I intend to explain more about sleep in my thesis video about dreams, so stay tuned for that if that sounds interesting. Even more interesting is how much I lift. All of you weak ass fruits and vegetables are often combined together because they more or less serve the same functional purposes in our bodies. These 2 food groups are where we get all or a majority of our vitamins and minerals. These nutrients are essential for all of our other functions throughout the body. Vegetables will serve to provide more on the mineral side of things. The biggest thing that people get out of this is fiber. And I'm sure most people have had trouble going to the bathroom before, and it's most likely because you don't eat enough vegetables. Fiber helps to promote microbiome health, which is essentially just symbiotic groups of bacteria in our bodies that assist in breaking down waste and other things inside of our bodies. A weak microbiome means you'll likely have issues breaking down food and will see some trouble excreting it at the end of its cycle through your digestive system. The biggest recommendation for this is to consume more spinach because it's so delicious, has a wide variety of dishes it can be used in, and would just make Popeye happy. The other thing you can get out of vegetables is iron, which is heavily prevalent in your blood cells, and they essentially just help transport oxygen to the rest of your body. And finally, on vegetables, there are often starchy foods that can help fill your body up efficiently without relying on calorie density to get the job done. Though you may think that origins? Oh my god. And though you may think that oranges are the main contribution to vitamin C in our bodies, it's actually potatoes that do a lot of the heavy lifting in an American society. Vitamin C is fuel for our immune system, which helps us recover from illnesses and injuries so effectively. And since Americans sure do love their French fries, there's little worry that we'll find vitamin C deficiencies. Now more about fruits, or more specifically, the vitamins they contain. Vitamins get their name because they're far more vital than your average minerals. And as a psychologist, this is where my knowledge gets to really shine, because most vitamins play a huge role in creating hormones. Our endocrine system relies mostly on most of the B vitamins, vitamin C, and vitamin D for making chemicals that support healthy hormone balance. This is mostly why we say you are what you eat, because eating healthy also promotes good brain health beyond physical health. A lot of therapists, including me in the future, will often suggest a healthier diet first to their patients just in case they're missing out on hormones that are likely the culprit to their problems. Better yet, you can get vitamin D by absorbing it in the sun, which is why humans are naturally drawn to places like the beach and are scientifically shown to be happier in those environments. So, yes, you chronically online bastard, your hate for the sun is indeed what's making you depressed, along with the fact that the dark colors in your room are naturally bringing your mood down. But you're not ready for that conversation, are you? Also, vitamin C promotes good hair health, so try taking vitamin C and collagen supplements to avoid twink death. Finally, the dairy segment. Dairy acts like the last line of defense if you're missing any nutrients from the prior groups. Since milk is used to rear and grow children, it's obviously packed with a majority of the nutrients they need to grow and survive. It's got loads of protein content in it, lots of fats and carbs to provide material, and contains loads of minerals to promote eye health, bone structure, hormone balance, and pretty much anything you can think of. But obviously milk and dairy shouldn't be all you consume, as it requires excess amounts of consumption to give an adult 100% of the nutrients they need, but it sure does pack quite a punch. And studies have shown that slowly incorporating milk into a consistent part of your diet can lessen the symptoms of lactose intolerance, but you also run the risk of developing an allergy to it with this method. So be careful with this. I hope I've at least encouraged people to think about eating a little healthier with this, but if not, I have this ending segment to discuss. The biggest reason people doubt dietitians is because they'll say bread, steak, cheese, tomatoes, and lettuce alone are really healthy to eat, but then say your burger is incredibly unhealthy. The reason for this is not because of the individual components of the burger. In fact, a homemade burger with these ingredients is practically a superfood you should eat because it has almost everything you need. The reason it's unhealthy is because of what the fast food restaurants add to it. There's certain nutrients in excess that could be detrimental to your health, and the two biggest ones I'm going to discuss are sodium and cholesterol, as they're the biggest demons almost everyone is aware of. Cholesterol and sodium are not bad. Sodium is pretty much just an electrolyte that promotes good hydration and proper distillation of water in our blood cells, and in moderation it helps to improve our energy levels. And cholesterol helps create cell membranes and promotes vitamin D to help us feel healthy. So what's the problem? Certain fats we eat will trigger cholesterol to travel through our arteries, but it requires a different fat to send the trigger to retrieve it. So eating too many of these bad cholesterols causes it to build up inside of our arteries as plaque. This causes a disturbance in blood flow, which taxes the heart and causes unnecessary strain on us. Added on to the fact of this is that it's fat that triggers this cholesterol buildup, and excessive fat buildup in our bodies puts stress on our organs as they struggle to push against the stressors to properly function. This in itself is a double whammy on the heart, but sodium makes this a lot worse. Sodium draws out liquid, and in short, water presence in foods causes them to spoil. It promotes mold growth from spores in the air and causes a redox reaction, which in turn will also spoil the food faster. That's why to preserve food, they're often doused with sodium and packaged into airtight containers, all in an attempt to preserve the food for as long as possible. The sodium they put in there isn't going anywhere though. It's still in the food. And because sodium draws out liquid, water inside our blood will try to maintain a salinity balance and will cause our blood cells to swell with water, which is the triple whammy for our hearts, as inflammation like that makes it harder for blood to move around, as seen here. Side note, sugar straight up doesn't expire, which is why foods that would taste horrible with added salt will just be doused in sugar instead. And excess sugar can cause other complications, I'm sure most people know, because of the stigma about candy. So if you want to have better heart health and you don't want to deal with the obesity problems that affect most Americans, you should try cooking more homemade foods or buy things fresh that aren't preserved, because it is those preservatives that are making you unhealthy. And to wrap up this video, I'm going to briefly discuss calories. Calories are essentially just how much raw fuel is in any kind of given food. Calories can come from any form of nutrient, but are most densely packed into carbohydrates and sugars. If your body has too much fuel than it knows what to do with, it'll store those nutrients for later as fat, which is why the only number you have to focus on for weight loss or weight gain is your calories. Nothing else really matters. Disregard this entire video and eat only 2,000 calories of ice cream a day and you will not get fat. I'm serious. As long as you're keeping a good exercise up and your daily maintenance is around 2,000 calories, you can make all of those 2,000 calories ice cream. And this is also why you shouldn't mention calories to someone with an eating disorder, because they know this fact better than anyone else you will know. But anyways, that's pretty much everything that I know about food that I can say while keeping it slightly compact and dense. There's a lot of nitty-gritty details to go into, but it's a little too convoluting and too confusing for that. This was just a quick summary, and I hope somebody learned something from this. Okay.